The rain was drumming a wild rhythm against the windows of the cozy corner cafe when I first saw her. I was hunched over a steaming mug of coffee, trying to decipher the messy equations in my physics textbook when she walked in, shaking off the rain like a golden retriever. Her hair, the color of sun-ripened wheat, was plastered to her forehead, and her cheeks were flushed a rosy pink. She looked around, her eyes the shade of warm honey, momentarily meeting mine, before she smiled shyly and headed towards the counter. I'm Enzo, by the way, a physics student, a lover of quiet corners and strong coffee, and until that rainy afternoon, a firm believer that soulmates were the stuff of fairy tales. I watched her order, her voice a soft melody against the cafe's background hum. "A hot chocolate, please," she said, "and a slice of that apple pie if you have any left." I went back to my equations, but my mind was no longer on quantum physics. It was replaying the image of her smile, the way her eyes crinkled at the corners. I chided myself for being ridiculous. I was a scientist, a man of logic and reason, not some lovesick puppy. But when she turned, and her gaze fell on the empty chair opposite me, I found myself, without conscious thought, gesturing towards it. "You can sit here if you like," I mumbled, immediately regretting my boldness. She hesitated for a moment, then smiled again, that same shy, captivating smile. "Thank you," she said, settling into the chair. "I'm Isla." "Enzo," I replied, my voice sounding ridiculously hoarse. And just like that, our story began. We talked for hours that afternoon, oblivious to the rain still raging outside, oblivious to the other patrons of the cafe. We talked about everything and nothing. I learned that Isla was an artist, a painter, who found beauty in the everyday. She, in turn, listened with genuine interest. As I rambled on about the complexities of the universe, we discovered a shared love for old movies, a mutual dislike for overly sweet desserts, and a similar sense of humor. It felt easy, comfortable, as if we had known each other for a lifetime. As the rain finally subsided and the sky began to clear, I knew I didn't want the afternoon to end. Would you want to maybe do this again sometime?" I asked, the question laced with a nervousness I hadn't felt in years. Her smile widened. "I'd love that, Enzo." And so began our series of Sometimes. We explored the city together, visiting museums and parks, sharing secrets and dreams. I showed her the best stargazing spot on the outskirts of town, and she introduced me to her favorite hidden art galleries. I found myself opening up to her in ways I never had with anyone else. I told her about my childhood, my fears, my aspirations, and she, in turn, shared her own vulnerabilities, her own hopes for the future. I was falling for her, deeply and irrevocably. But I was also scared. I had always been a cautious person, afraid of taking risks, afraid of getting hurt. And love, I knew, was the biggest risk of all. One evening, as we were walking along the riverfront, the city lights shimmering on the water, I decided I couldn't keep my feelings hidden any longer. I stopped, turned to face her, and took her hands in mine. "Isla," I began, my voice trembling slightly, I think I'm in love with you." Her eyes searched mine, and I saw a flicker of something I couldn't quite decipher. Fear? Doubt? "Enzo," she said softly, "I care about you deeply. But..." My heart sank. That "but" hung in the air like a heavy cloud, threatening to extinguish the fragile flame of hope that had been burning within me. "But," she continued, "I'm not sure I'm ready for this. I've been hurt before, Enzo, and I'm afraid of getting hurt again." I understood, I truly did, but understanding didn't make the pain any less sharp. "I would never hurt you, Ayla," I said, my voice thick with emotion. "I promise you that." She looked at me for a long moment, her eyes filled with a mixture of sadness and longing. "I believe you, Enzo," she said finally, "but I need time. I need time to figure out what I want." I nodded, trying to mask the disappointment that was washing over me. "I understand," I said. "I'll give you all the time you need." The next few weeks were agonizing. We still saw each other, but there was a distance between us, an unspoken tension that made it difficult to relax and be ourselves. I tried to be patient, to give her the space she needed, but it was hard. Every day, I felt like I was walking on eggshells, afraid of saying or doing anything that might push her away. Then one day she called me, her voice tight with emotion. "Enzo," she said, "can we meet? There's something I need to tell you." My heart pounded in my chest as I drove to meet her at the cozy corner, the place where our story had begun. I braced myself for the worst, convinced that she was going to tell me she couldn't see a future for us. When I arrived, she was already there, sitting at her usual table, a half-empty mug of hot chocolate in front of her. She looked pale and drawn, and my stomach clenched with worry. I sat down opposite her, my eyes searching hers. "What is it, Isla?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. "Be." She took a deep breath, her hands trembling slightly. "I've been doing a lot of thinking," she said, "about us, about my past, about what I want for the future." I waited, my breath held captive in my lungs. "And I've realized," she continued, "that I've been letting my fear control me. I've been so afraid of getting hurt that I've been pushing away the best thing that's ever happened to me." My heart leapt with hope. "What are you saying?" "Ayla." She reached across the table and took my hand, her eyes locking with mine. "I'm saying that I'm ready, Enzo. I'm ready to take a chance. I'm in love with you too." A wave of relief washed over me, so powerful that I felt weak in the knees. I squeezed her hand tightly, unable to speak. "I know it won't always be easy," she said, "but I'm willing to work at it. I'm willing to fight for us." "So am I said, my voice choked with emotion. "I'll fight for you, Isla, always." And so our journey continued. We faced challenges, we had disagreements, but we always found our way back to each other. We learned to communicate, to compromise, to support each other through thick and thin. We built a life together, filled with love, laughter, and shared dreams. We got married in a small ceremony, surrounded by our closest friends and family. We bought a little house with a garden where Ayla could paint and I could stargaze. Years passed, and our love only deepened with time. We grew old together, our wrinkles mirroring each other, our hearts forever intertwined. Looking back, I realized that soulmates weren't just the stuff of fairy tales. They were real, they were possible, and I had found mine in the most unexpected of places, a cozy little cafe on a rainy afternoon. Our love story wasn't a whirlwind romance. It was a slow burn, a gradual unfolding of two souls destined to be together. It was a testament to the power of patience, understanding, and unwavering love. It was, in every sense of the word, a true love story.